Okay, so let's begin. First of all, welcome again to the ConnectEO webinar. Today we are going to present some highlights of the project and the call for trade missions. I'll introduce myself. I'm Juliana Carvajal. I'm a European Project Officer at Polmer Bretagne Atlantique, and I will share the floor with Victor Corral. He's an innovation consultant at CTA, and Sandra Cabrera Alvarado. She's a European Project Officer at ERSC. So, hi, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
So let's start. First, some guidelines about the webinar. So please keep your microphone off. Don't hesitate to ask your questions at any time during the webinar by using the question box. The webinar will be recorded, so the replay and the presentation will be available on the ConnectEO website after the session. Please, if you have any comments or further questions, don't hesitate to contact us by email after the webinar. Regarding the program, first, a reminder of the project and the main objectives, then the results of the expression of interest, followed by the presentation of the call for trade missions, and finally, a question and answer session. Now, for the presentation of the project, ConnectEO stands for Connecting European Earth Observation to International Markets. The project is found under the COSME Clusters Go International program and aims to promote and foster market access between the European Earth Observation SMEs and two target countries, Australia and Chile. The project focuses on the use of Earth observation addressing business opportunities and key socioeconomic and environmental challenges within the maritime and agricultural sectors. Regarding the consortium, there are three partners: the European Association of Remote Sensing Companies in Belgium, who is the coordinator of the project; CTA, the Technological Corporation of Andalusia in Spain, for all the agricultural aspects; and finally, Polmer Bretagne Atlantique in France for all the marine and maritime aspects in ConnectEO. Now, regarding the context, ConnectEO is the successor of another project called IDEO, in which 6 countries were assessed for the potential market of European maritime and agricultural Earth observation services. So these 6 countries were Argentina, Australia, Chile, Egypt, Japan, and South Africa. And after the assessment, they were narrowed down to 2. And so those are the ConnectEO targets, Australia and Chile. In ConnectEO, we implement the internationalization strategy and roadmap, which were developed under IDEO. And all the ConnectEO actions are supported by local existing networks to facilitate successful partnership. Regarding the main objectives, so one of the objectives is to empower to explore target markets, to empower the SMEs, to explore the target markets by providing them target market intelligence, links to local network and stakeholders, and relevant background information. All of these thanks to the ConnectEO back office. A second objective is to test a front office pilot in Australia to improve and validate the value of on-site support to identify businesses in this target market. And finally, facilitate the development of strong interpersonal B2B links with partners and customers in the target countries through trade missions. Now, as I said before, the project focuses in foster business opportunities for European Earth observation SMEs in 2 target countries, Australia and Chile, and 2 downstream application sectors, the marine and maritime, in which we can find find some subsectors as infrastructure and shipping, defense and security, biodiversity and environment protection, renewable energies, fisheries management, and others. And for the agriculture sector, we can find some subsectors as crop, livestock, environment protection, and disaster mitigation, and others. So now we would like to highlight some interesting facts about the target markets. In the case of Australia, the space sector shows some opportunities. For example, the Copernicus cooperation arrangement between Australia and Europe, and the new space agency in Australia has been recently set up, and there is a high willingness to integrate innovation into business operations. Australia, it's a large country with abundant natural resources needing monitoring and surveillance, which represents a high potential for Earth observation technologies. Regarding the market situation, the administrative formalities for setting up foreign companies are reduced compared to other countries. Plus, the Earth observation business is expected to grow, and there are some bilateral investment conventions. Regarding Chile, the space sector also shows some interesting opportunities. For example, the Copernicus cooperation arrangement between Chile and Europe, and the Earth observation exploitation has government backing, and they have a very young space policy. Chile has a strong maritime activity and a long coast and marine ecosystems, which requires coastline monitoring, coastal management and surveillance, fisheries and shipping management, sea ice, icebergs detection and tracking, and also important agricultural and mining activity in the inland regions of the country. For the market situation, they have a very liberal FDI framework. It's one of the most stable and economically attractive countries in Latin America. And there is a favorable business climate, and only few local companies operate in Earth observation businesses. So finally, the added values of the project are the international cooperation between Europe and third countries, the search for new industrial value chains for European SMEs at international level, the cross-sectorial Earth observation products and services, the association of cross-sectorial clusters to ensure the network sustainability, and the development of cross-regional activities and projects. So now I am going to give the floor to Victor. Victor, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Juliana. Thank you very much for summarizing the objective of ConnectEO and providing, explaining the added value of the project. So now we are going to enter into the expression of interim results. So thank you, Juliana. Okay, so firstly is why we have undertaken this expression of interest. This is the first step to carry out prior to the CAF participation in order to understand which are the needs and the objectives that these ECMAs are looking forward to doing business in these target countries, Australia and Chile. Okay, so the main objectives that we have is the first opportunity for European Earth observation ECMAs to access for trade missions in Australia and Chile in the maritime and agricultural sectors. So after these main objectives, we have what are you expecting from these ECMAs? So and from the project as well. So is to develop and to set up a first database of European Earth observation ECMAs that are interested in business opportunities in those destination countries and within the maritime agriculture sectors. So this is quite important for us to set up the thing and to set up the next steps that Sandra is going to tell us. Then we have a timeline. The special register has been launched in the 15th of February of 2021 and it has been closed on 13th of April. Okay, so after that, next slide, please. Okay. So I would like to show you here some facts and findings that we have gathered from the expression of interest. So, in a nutshell, we would like to identify that we have a total number of 13 applications from 15 different countries. As we can see here in the left side of the image, the number of applications and the eligible and not eligible SMEs that has been expressed their interest. So we have 28 eligible SMEs and two of them that are not eligible due to that they are from Switzerland, and they are not COSME country eligible countries. Sorry. So then in the right side of the image, we have the application per sectors. So as we can see here, agriculture is the main sector represented in the interest from SMEs with 23 applications, and as well as maritime with 6 applications. Then also we have identified that the fields of application of each of these sectors are for agriculture, the crop growth monitoring, pest and disease alarm, irrigation scheduling, farm management. In the maritime, we have also metocean, ships, coastal risk, erosion, flooding, tsunami warning system from space. So this is quite important for us to understand which are the needs and the interests from our SMEs, European SMEs, looking forward to join us. The next slide, please. Thank you. So finally, I would like to finalize these special interest slides by giving you some facts and findings as well. In the left side, we can see in the table the main expected support from ConnectEO that has been expressed by the SMEs that they are looking forward for us. So the first one is networking, fostering partnership in destination country. Okay, how to make business there, and how to arrange collaborations, and then the financial and legal support to doing business in those countries. And then the main needs from SMEs is that they are looking forward to close partnerships, agreements, collaboration agreements to local distribution companies. It is important to enlarge the capacity to commercialize these products and services. Then the second one is participate in trade missions and to expand the network of customers, distributors, and different actors in that countries. Then we have the market analysis to assess the opportunity and the challenges that they have to internationalization to Chile and Australia. So it's important to into the business reports and market intelligence studies to assess the opportunity to go ahead into those countries. Okay, so now I will give the floor to Sandra, our project coordinator from ERSC, and she's going to explain the care for trade missions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Victor. As Victor kindly mentioned, my name is Sandra Cabrera, and I'm a project officer at ERSC. And I am going to introduce you to the call for trade missions to go to Chile and Australia. I'll give you an overview of the call, the aim and the value, the call package as well, and the eligibility and the evaluation that the consortium is going to take, and finally the timeline, so you can know when and how is this going to be developed. So first of all, the ConnectEO call continues the effort that Victor mentioned on the expression of interest, which helped us to define and to understand the SME's interest and the needs when they go international, and the interest of going to Chile and Australia. Therefore, we developed this call, which is launched today, and the aim of this call is to support up to 20 SMEs to go to Australia and the Chilean markets. The scope of this call is the focus on maritime and agricultural sectors. And the value of this call is are three main aspects. Is first of all to support the SMEs in the assistance with preparatory activities that we're going to provide. These preparatory activities are shaped on webinars and trainings on topics that are of interest when SMEs go international, such as cultural trainings or financial or economic aspects of both targeted markets, B2B events as well. Those are some of the examples of the preparatory activities. The second aspect is the trade missions, which we call it as a delegation trip, where these selected SMEs are going to travel with us to Chile and Australia, that I'm going to develop further. And lastly is a financial support of up to 1,000 euros for the trade missions that are focused on the support of the travel expenses. Next, please. The trade mission. So what is a trade mission? So what we call a trade mission as a delegation trip, in which these selected SMEs will come to a provisory, we call it provisory anchor events. As you know, it will depend on the global sanitary conditions. So based on the fact that we could travel and the situation is getting better, then we have already targeted some of these anchor events where the trade missions will go, as you can see them in the slide. These 4 events that are, I would like to underline, provisory. These events are based on agriculture and maritime services. These events that are precisely the trade missions that will go and started from February 2022 onwards, and these will be in 4 missions. 4 missions divided in 2 in Australia and 2 in Chile. Each of them will have a total of 10 SMEs, and in each sector we will travel with up to 5 SMEs each. Next slide, please. So the timeline, how does it will work? So the call starts today. It's open today. It will be closed on August 31st. But of course, I encourage you not to wait until the last time to apply. The evaluation and the selection period will be held in September by the consortium of ConnectEO. The last week of September, we will announce the selected SMEs. And in early October, we would start conversations with the selected SMEs to formalize our partnership through missions agreements between the consortium and the SME. In November, we would start the preparatory activities that I mentioned, and the trade missions, then it will start after, as I mentioned, from February onwards. Next, please. Now, the eligibility criteria, which is one of the most important criteria to apply. First of all, the applicant should be must be a legal person, must qualify as an SME according to the European Commission SME definition. It must be registered in an eligible country. If you're wondering which is your eligible country, then you can, in this slide as well, you can find the eligible countries. But first of all, they are the members of the European Union. There are also some countries that belong to the enlargement countries, and I don't think you can see it in the slide, but also the UK, it is eligible as well. The SME should be involved, must be involved in the development of Earth observation products or services, and of course, targeted to agriculture and maritime sectors, ideally. And lastly, the applicant should have, the applicant has a strategy that already involves internationalization to go to either South America or to Asia Pacific, and by South Pacific. And by these, we mean Australia and New Zealand. Next, please. Now, how are we going to evaluate your application? So as you will see, the application form is divided in 4 sectors. These sectors have the weight based on the slide that you will see, in which, of course, the main target for us is the access, how we call it, the access to international markets, which is more if you have already a previous experience in export, or if you have already envisaged an internationalization strategy. But as well, we would like to know the motivation of your SME, and why do you want to go international. So we would as well evaluate the motivation, which are the incentives that you have in export, the understanding of the market, the skills and the aims, of course, of the company, and as well the technology offer of your product and your service, and as I mentioned, the go-to-market strategies. So what are your expectations of going, and what do you think you will take from the trade missions, and how these trade missions and ConnectEO itself will help you move forward. And next, please. So the application process. First of all, of course, you would need to, I will encourage you to read the applications package, the call package that is on the website as well, in which you will find as well the form, the online application form that it's available in the links that you see, and the first bullet point. And you will need to submit as well the following documentation. We're asking for 2 documents. The declaration of honor, that you will find a template for easier purposes in the website, the ConnectEO.eu. The link that it's there, and an official proof of registration in order for us to validate that you are part of, that you are an eligible SME in an eligible country. A guide as well is it's provided to you as a guide for applicants, that also it's available there. In that guide of applicants, you will find all the information and the application form, where it states all the questions for you to prepare beforehand you submit your online application. And as well, a reminder that the deadline is August 31st at 5 p.m. Central European time, but please do your best to fill it out before the deadline. And so we encourage you, of course, to apply. And now we will be happy, Juliana and Victor, to answer your questions as well. So I will invite them to join me. And
yes, thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Victor, for your presentations. And yes, now we are going to start the Q&A session. So I will share the public questions. And so please don't hesitate to write your questions in the question box that you have on the webinar. Let me see. I have one question here. Is there an expected TRL of the products of services for participate in ConnectEO?
So I know that maybe maybe this person applied for the expression of interest, and we ask a TRL. Not in this case, however, you will see in the application questions that we ask more on the development of the product. So not precisely a TRL, but with this, we request an information of the product or the service.
Perfect. We have another one. Do you have to be a member of a specific cluster to benefit from the project?
No, you don't. Of course, you will have a plus if you are part of any of our clusters, which is ERSC or PMBA or CTA, but you don't have to.
Yes, perfect. And you see, you will find this question in the application form, but it's just an information for us to know to do the mapping of the European SMEs in applying for the call. We have another one. When or how are going you to be sure about the trade missions?
Of course, we would all love to know when are we all going to travel. Okay, so this is a very tricky question. We understand about it. So the first event, as you would see in the timeline, is February. But we expect that we will have sort of an idea based on the information of the country. So we really relied on the country's information to know about it. So unfortunately, I cannot tell you a specific date, but I can tell you that if we don't see that something will happen, then we will move online.
Perfect. Yes, indeed. We depend on the sanitary conditions in all the countries in Europe and the target countries, but we hope that on February 2022 we will be able to go. I have another one. I did not apply for the expression of interest. Can I still apply?
Of course. The expression of interest is precisely what Victor said. It was more a guide for us to understand the SMEs' interests and needs. And as Victor said, we saw that many SMEs were interested in networking events and participate in other kind of sectors. So it is more a support for us, but it doesn't mean that SMEs should, must have applied before. So apply, no mandatory step prior to this.
Yes. I have another one. Thank you for this question. Is I understand that you receive six expression of interest in the maritime sector, and that you intend to support 10 SMEs. Does it mean that SMEs that did not apply to the expression of interest will be supported? I think that Sandra already answered to this, but indeed, in the expression of interest, only 6 expressed their target downstream application sector as maritime. But of course, we hope to engage at least 10 SMEs that are targeting the maritime and marine challenges to be supported and to go to the trade missions. Let me see. I have another one. Is a self-employed person considered as an SME? If so, can this person participate in the program?
So as we mentioned, must be a legal person, if your SME means that, if the person, self-employed person, means that it is an SME of one person, then maybe, but I cannot say yes or no. I encourage you to go and see the SME definition of the European Commission, and you will find the definition as well on our website. So there you can assess yourself if you can apply, you're eligible or not. So that information is on our website on ConnectEO.
Yeah, sorry, we lost.
connect-eo.eu.
Yes, and thank you. And for just now we can hear you. It was just a few seconds, but yes, all the information, you will have it in the website, and after the session we are going to send you the presentation and the record of the webinar, so you will have all the links to check your eligibility to participate. And of course, if you have some specific questions for your specific cases, please don't hesitate to address the request to the help desk team in the website, or you have also our contact emails in the presentation. Okay, so we have another one. It says, please, can you give more details about those the training that you...
Preparatory mission, the preparatory activities or the trainings? Yes, so we expect to do trainings regarding the key aspects of the countries in Australia and Chile. We would address the aspects of cultural aspects when exporting to these two countries, and legal aspects such as IP, the IP aspects that these SMEs need to take into consideration before selling or even partnering with another stakeholder over there, and also financial aspects. So these are the main, let's say, the main pillars that we aim to focus.
Okay, perfect. I have another one, two questions from the same person. If fewer companies are selected, will the budget available for travel costs be split differently?
Okay, let me see if I understood it. If the budget, it is up to 1,000 euros. So it will depend on the expenses of the travel of this SME going specifically to a trade mission. But I don't know if I
Yeah,
answered.
no, the question was more if, for example, we are aiming 10 SMEs, for example, for Chile, and 10 SMEs for Australia. The question was if we select fewer SMEs, if the budget will be split differently. But I mean, our aim, if I may, just to add something to Sandra's answer, is that our aim is to have 10 SMEs from this from each target market, and also 5 for each sector. So 5 for agriculture in Chile, 5 for agriculture in Australia, and the same thing with the maritime, 5 from Chile and 5 for Australia, with the focus on maritime. So that is our idea, and we think that given the results of the expression of interest, we think that we can reach this number, and we encourage you to apply to the trade missions. But this kind of question, I think that this is something after the selection. This is something that we need to evaluate with the project officer and the consortium and all of that. So that's a question that we will maybe answer afterwards. But the ideal thing is just to have the exactly amount that Sandra already described. Okay, and the second question is, prior to the trade missions, will preliminary contacts be initiated with the target countries?
The idea is that prior precisely to the travel, to the trade emissions, we would develop an agenda for the SMEs. So once they are there at the event, they would have already an idea of the stakeholders in those countries. Yes.
Yes, indeed. And that's the whole idea of the preparatory actions and all of that. I have another one. Are you giving priority to SMEs that already have strong international activities?
We would take into consideration, as I mentioned, as well as in many other points, but that one is one of many points that we would take into consideration for sure. One of, as I said, one of many others that you will see. I think you will. I would encourage you as well to read the guide for applicants, where you will see the questions. So in the questions, what is important is that in the questions, you will see as well hints in some of them, where you will see the elements that we would love to know about you. Of course, they are not mandatory. You can as well express yourself as much as you want, but there are some elements that we are looking for. So one of them, as this assistant mentioned, is the internationalization strategy or market, the export strategy. But there are many other more that we will see and take into consideration.
Yes, I just put the evaluation criteria here and the weights. So indeed, it will be a good thing for the SMEs if the SMEs have already some international activity. That will be a plus, I think. Okay, let me see. We have another one. I have a one. Could the companies target both countries, or they have to select either Chile or Australia?
Thank you so much for this question. They can target both, and they can also target both sectors. The only thing is that if they target both countries, then we will ask you to submit one application per country. So in total, this SME would need to submit 2 applications, but it is allowed.
Yes, that depends on your strategy. So it's allowed. Okay, I think that we don't have any more questions. Let me just double check. No. Okay, so I don't know if you want to share with us a final word, Victor or Sandra?
I will just one comment based on precisely the experience that we had from the expression of interest, and of course this project aims to assist the European SMEs, but there was also other SMEs that would like to that expressed their interest and they weren't eligible. What we encourage you in that case is that there is this possibility that you partner with an European SME, or you get in touch with these European SMEs, so you can as well, in a certain way, benefit from it. If that is a possibility, then I just put that on the table. And of course, we expect a lot of applications. We would like as well to do this in more a sustainable way, in the sense that we would like to support these SMEs. So maybe in the future we would also develop some activities that also will be open to some SMEs, but we are still on the way. So with that said, of course, our main message here is to encourage you to apply to the call, and please stay tuned for our future activities as well. I don't know, Victor, you want to say something?
Yes, please, as Sandra mentioned, if you have any question, anything that you consider that you have to check out with us, please contact us to have a help desk in our website, ConnectEO.eu. Okay, so please reach out as many times as whenever you consider needed to reach out to us to solve any doubt or question or whatever. Okay, we are here to help you, and we are loved to see you and to go with you in these trade missions in Chile and Australia. Okay, so for us it has been a pleasure that you have been here, and thank you very much, Sandra and Juliana, for this presentation.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, you two, for your participation. Thank you, everyone, for joining the webinar. And yes, please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any comments or questions, and just apply to our call for participation to trade missions. You will have all the information, as I said before the after the webinar, and so we hope to see you soon in our next activities. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.